Vaccinating Utah children against COVID-19. But what does it mean for students, teachers, and schools?
Let's do what we can to end this.
How educators say every student can benefit. Plus, new questions tonight about future mandates.
A brazen burglary caught on camera.
Violated in a way, you know? Yeah, it hurts.
What thieves took that's so hard to replace, and why the shop owner says the damage goes beyond money.
Nice day today, but right now I'm tracking some more changes for tomorrow. Our next system is approaching, and then I'm tracking the timing of a cool down.
And Salt Lake City police received an unusual delivery. What officers found inside when they opened this bag.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Tonight, parents in Utah can sign their young children up for COVID-19 vaccine appointments, and those appointments are filling up fast now that the FDA and CDC have approved the Pfizer vaccine for children ages 5 to 11. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Bob Evans.
And I'm Haley Higginson for Kelly Chapman. The state begins its rollout today, and families visited the South Main Public Center so children could get their first dose.
Fox 13's Emily Tenser is at the Utah Department of Health tonight with how educators hope vaccines for young children can help school districts. Emily.
Remote learning, students in quarantine, unknown risks and case counts. These are all the things teachers hope the vaccine can change so students can once again have a normal school experience.
And I just wanted to get vaccinated, but mostly I wanted to be around my uncle and my grandma.
It's a big day for kids aged 5 through 11 as they now get to roll up their sleeves and get the Pfizer COVID shot.
We currently see large volumes of cases in our school settings, and those children end up causing vulnerabilities in their loved ones who may be less successfully vaccinated.
Heidi Matthews with the Utah Education Association says vaccine availability is a sigh of relief for teachers, parents, and districts.
I know that there are a number of students, particularly with some special needs, that are really celebrating today, knowing that they will be able to be more protected.
She hopes this brings more attendance and face-to-face learning, the return of those who chose to homeschool out of safety concerns, and hopefully more staff and substitute teachers.
I think that's very likely that there will be some more interest in substitute teaching, particularly with our retired educators who come back into the classroom, having that level of security.
The FDA and CDC's approval now brings up the question, are mandates in schools a possibility for the future? Matthews says testing mandates seem responsible.
Let's do what we can to end this and solve this. And if it means testing more, okay. But if you do have that vaccine, then you can opt out of that testing.
This comes the same day the Utah Department of Health reports school-aged children make up a fifth of the state's daily cases. Now, kids aged 5 to 10 make up almost half of those numbers. Reporting live outside the Department of Health, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Emily, thank you. If you haven't signed up for a vaccine appointment before, starting with your local health department's website is a good start. Fox 13 News went through the steps. We were able to fill out the forms and make an appointment in about 3.5 minutes. There are several clinics giving vaccines to 5 to 11-year-olds already, and appointments are filling up fast. People living in southern Utah now have better access to a COVID-19 treatment. The state health department has opened a monoclonal antibody treatment center in St. George. Now, this is the second facility of its kind in Utah. The first one opened in Murray last year. Doctors say monoclonal antibodies have been shown to prevent hospitalization for 1 in 8 people at high risk for severe reaction to the virus.
Patients come in, they're not feeling well, they're COVID positive, they can infuse them there in the ER. But if you think about that, that's 2 hours extra that they're in a bed. And we all know that there's limited beds and there's limited availability across the state, especially here in the St. George area. And so if we can free up that ER bed and we can give them back that 2 hours and that patient can come over here and get the infusion, we're helping them see that next patient that's waiting in the waiting room.
The center will be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays by appointment only. and expect to handle about 50 patients a day. They will be open on weekends if necessary.
A unified firefighter who died of COVID-19 will be laid to rest later this week. 61-year-old Captain Merrill Bone served as a firefighter for 39 years. Despite being fully vaccinated, Captain Bone had a weakened immune system after beating cancer.
This is, something that all of us are facing, right? The uncertainties of, the pandemic, and it's sometimes doesn't feel real until it hits close to home.
Unified Fire Authority is considering this a line of duty death. A public viewing will take place from 5 to 8 Friday evening at Larkin Mortuary in Riverton. Saturday's funeral will also be open to the public at 11 a.m. at Olympus High School in Holiday. The family asks if you do attend, please wear a mask. There's also a GoFundMe page set up to help Captain Bone's family with expenses. You can find a link to that on our website, fox13now.com.
A small business in West Bountiful says they are out thousands of dollars after a burglary early Monday morning, and the crime was caught on camera.
Fox 13's John Franke joins us with a story that you'll only see right here. Hi, John.
Well, hey guys, local small businesses work hard to find success, so when they're victimized like this, it hurts a lot more than just their bottom line.
When I got down here, they had already gone through the store.
Visitors are usually welcome through this store at DC Sports Cards and Collectibles. But not visitors like this. You can see in this surveillance video.
We've gone through a lot of emotions, but violated in a way,
A car pulls up to the West Bountiful shop, 2 people get out and smash open the door.
I feel lucky, in a sense. They didn't break any glass. They did ruin the whole door.
A camera shows the pair inside for just several seconds, grabbing several types of trading cards before taking off.
They stole some hobby boxes, Panini products, Immaculate. They stole some tops. They stole some Pokemon.
The crime won't cause the store to go out of business. It's not about the dollars and cents for owner Chris Adams.
I own a tile business, and I ended up starting this 4 years ago because I wanted to change. I wanted something new, and it was tough.
Chris and his family have built this unique shop with collectibles from the past and present, and they've done it from the ground up.
Many people told me I couldn't do it. It would never last. So when I get asked how I feel, I still don't know.
That's why this crime makes Chris feel like the thieves took a lot more than some boxes of cards.
And I know other small business people have too. They've put in their heart and soul to this, and yeah, it hurts.
And Chris adds they don't keep the most valuable items in the store overnight for reasons just like this. Meanwhile, West Bountiful police are investigating. If you know anything about this crime, you're asked to give them a call. Live in the studio tonight, John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thank you, John. Since the start of the pandemic, sports cards of all types have increased in value. According to the website Sports Collectors Daily, data from eBay shows that basketball cards increased in value by 130%, baseball cards up 50%, and football cards value is up 47%.
I had a chance to go up to the state capitol tonight, and the sunset was beautiful. You'll see why in a little bit, but the sunset was just gorgeous.
Yes, I have such a pretty picture of the sunset. I'll show it to you guys in about 10 minutes. Oh my goodness, it's one of the prettier pictures that I've seen from our sunsets. But right now, 48 degrees here in Salt Lake City. Our wind is calm currently. We've got full visibility. And right now here across the state, we've got some clouds off to our north. Our next system's going to approach later tomorrow. So the wind will be breezy at times for your Thursday, but here's what you need to know. Right now, it's still about 50 degrees for Ogden, Salt Lake, mid-40s for Provo and Logan, and for St. George still in the 60s. And when you first wake up tomorrow morning, it'll be in the mid to low 30s for Logan, Evanston, and Park City, Provo upper 30s, and then Salt Lake and Ogden low 40s first thing tomorrow morning. We'll have partly cloudy sky across the north tonight, mostly clear sky across southern Utah. Temperatures when you first wake up will be in the low 40s with clear sky, and then as I mentioned, a system approaches tomorrow. I'll let you know if we'll see any impacts from that coming up.
I don't think think she understood the magnitude of the situation. A 12-year-old student in Tooele brings a gun to school, and it wasn't the first time. How long she may have had it, and the lesson police and school district leaders say people can learn.
They were convicted of driving under the influence. So why is a Utah Police Department being sued and accused of helping one offender get a car back? We investigate tonight on Fox 13.
Horses have been victimized for something valuable time and time again. Why this is so damaging to the animals.
The Jazz backcourt of Donovan Mitchell and Mike Kindly stepped up big time against the Kings. Coming up, we'll hear from the Jazz dynamic duo.
Police say they recovered a gun from a student at a junior high school in Tooele earlier this week.
Fox 13 Spencer Joseph reports while it is a scary situation, police don't believe that the student intended to use the gun.
It's the scariest thing a school can face, a firearm on campus. And for Clark and Johnson Junior High in Tooele, thankfully things were stopped before anyone was hurt.
It was reported to us Monday morning at about 8:45 a.m.
Lieutenant Jeremy Hansen spoke with Fox 13, telling us the principal of the school called them Monday morning.
She advised the school resource officer that she had taken possession of a handgun off of a 12-year-old female student.
But it wasn't the first time.
This girl had brought this gun to school on Thursday. When she was walking home Thursday after school, another female student saw it, reported it to her mother.
While it's unclear how long she had the gun, Monday morning that student was called in for questioning.
And that is when the 12-year-old student told the principal that it was still in her backpack. She said she felt she needed it for protection. When we pressed her harder, she didn't want to elaborate. So we don't think that she had any ill intent in bringing that gun to school at all.
This was a young student. Unfortunately, I don't think she understood the magnitude of the situation.
And she now faces consequences from both law enforcement and the district.
She became emotional. I think it started to set in that she had made a big mistake.
And so we really want to remind our families to remind their children that do not bring weapons onto school property. There are severe consequences involved with that.
Both also praising the other student and parent for alerting them to the danger.
The school culture of see something, say something is working. We have been able to address issues immediately beforehand, before it becomes too late, because of the amount of people that are coming forward.
But this could have been prevented.
Had that gun been locked up, we may not have even ran into the situation to begin with.
And the police department hopes this illustrates why locking up your weapons away from kids is so important.
If the parents take a proactive approach with their students and have these conversations saying, look, there are severe ramifications for this, one from the school, one from law enforcement, that might help deter some of that.
And the message from the police department is, whether it's here in Tooele or anywhere else, if you see something, say something. You can also report school threats anonymously on the Safe UT app. In Tooele, Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thank you, Spencer. Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall and Police Chief Mike Brown announced a new crime control plan today. With an increase of crime in 2020 and a shortage of officers, the crime control plan aims to support the efforts of police in keeping the city safe. The plan outlines multiple impact areas, including staffing, community-based policing, and homelessness. For each area, the plan outlines short, medium, and long-term actions they feel they need to take.
And to that point, the strength of this organization is the officers. They work every day. They don't stop. We work as a command staff. We work as officers. We work as the chief, the mayor, myself. We are committed to better serving this community.
The full report can be found on fox13now.com.
We've learned that Utah-based trucking company CR England was recently the victim of a security breach. We're told a system outage began over the weekend on Saturday. The chief legal officer of CR England says despite that, the company has remained fully open for business. A statement from the company says the outage, which was caused by an outside actor, has been resolved, and we are currently bringing our automated systems back online. Every day is different for Salt Lake City police officers.
But it's safe to say that no one would have expected what we are about to show you. Someone dropped off a red-tailed hawk in a bag at the public safety building. We're told the bird was unable to fly because of a broken bone in its left wing. The Division of Wildlife Resources took the bird to the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center in Ogden, where it will receive treatment.
I don't know how many times the police department has taken possession of a red-tailed hawk that was in a bowling bag,
Yeah.
but they did today. It was nice flying weather. If the
Yes, I know.
the hawk could have flown.
Bob was trying to brag on us that he saw this gorgeous sunset.
Yeah.
He didn't take a picture, but I was like, well, I can one-up you because a viewer did, and it is such a pretty
Okay,
photo.
so the viewer is better than me.
Bob, I'm wondering if you can locate where this was
man.
taken.
That
Any
is
idea?
gorgeous. That looks like Harriman.
Yep. Daybreak, South Jordan.
Daybreak, yep. And that's
Beautiful.
gorgeous.
Yes,
That
thank you
is
so
beautiful.
much,
What,
Chris.
is that a drone shot?
Yes, Chris is one of our best drone guys. Scott always sends cool drone pictures in, so thank you so much. Beautiful sunset. Right now, it's obviously quite a bit darker here in Salt Lake City. Temperature is currently 48 degrees. We have calm wind currently, so it feels really nice out there. Tomorrow morning will be about, let's say, 10 degrees cooler when you first wake up, depending on where you are. There is a system approaching the Pacific Northwest. You can see that nicely. We've got this counterclockwise motion, area of low pressure moving into the Pacific Northwest. We will see a weak system brushing by northern Utah late tomorrow. So what that means for us, I think the biggest impacts we're going to notice will be a little bit of a breeze tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll see some precipitation mostly into Idaho. Satellite and radar this evening, mostly clear sky north Salt Lake, out towards Magna, out towards South Jordan area, Harriman, Bluffdale, Holiday, Midvale, Sandy, up through Salt Lake, up through the Ogden area. We have mostly clear sky. Temperatures currently upper 40s for Ogden and Salt Lake, mid 40s for Logan, 45 for Provo. St. George currently 61 degrees. Our wind is pretty calm right now. Now tomorrow it'll be about 10 to 20 miles per hour. I have no warnings, no watches, no advisories, no statements. Got nothing for you for tomorrow besides that breeze it's going to pick up. So tomorrow morning, close to 40 first thing in the morning, mostly sunny sky by 9 a.m., becoming partly cloudy with temperatures into the 50s by lunchtime, and then highs tomorrow will be a little bit warmer than today. So if you thought today was nice, tomorrow's going to be arguably better. So overnight temps, first thing tomorrow morning around freezing for Park City, Evanston, Logan, upper 30s for Provo, low 40s for Salt Lake and Ogden. Then tomorrow, we're halfway through the work week, we're wrapping it up, we're Thursday, we're getting closer to the weekend. We are going to be in the 60s, mid 60s tomorrow afternoon. So it's going to be a comfortable day. And then our future cast does show that system that's going to be brushing by to our north. So our wind will pick up a little bit tomorrow after lunchtime through dinner time. We're really not going to see many big impacts from that system. And then we'll end up with just drifting clouds at times taking you through Friday evening. So we'll have a really, really nice weekend ahead. We do have some increased chances for rain towards the end of our 7-day forecast, mostly widely scattered, nothing major. So we'll talk more about that coming up later in the hour. St. George, you're in the upper 70s through Sunday, and next week we're close to 70 degrees Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And for Salt Lake City, we're in the upper 60s through Saturday. Cooler into next week. Let's talk more about that chance for rain next week coming up later in the hour.
Great forecast. Thanks, Allison. Still ahead, it's been 125 years since the first group of Utah women took up political office. How the state celebrated the milestone. Utah women celebrated a milestone today, 125 years of women in public office. On November 3rd, 1896, Utahns elected 14 women to public office around the state. This includes Dr. Martha Hughes Cannon, who served as the first female U.S. Senator in the country. The Utah Women's History nonprofit called Better Days collaborated with Lieutenant Governor Henderson, and together they held a news conference today to talk about the achievement.
That's really critical, I think, for us to recognize and to commemorate, because women's voices are so important in all levels of government. And so that's what we're celebrating here today. Utah made history when we elected Martha Hughes Cannon as the first female state senator in the nation. And that kind of paved the way and opened doors for women throughout the nation.
In 2018, the Utah State Legislature voted to send a statue of Dr. Cannon to represent Utah in National Statuary Hall in Washington, D.C.
This was a special night for some special young people at the Utah State Capitol Rotunda.
I just wanted to thank y'all for coming out here tonight and give a very big thanks to my parents. I love you, dads.
For children waiting to be adopted, anything they can do to increase their chances of finding their family, they'll do. Raise the Future, formerly known as the Adoption Exchange, has partnered with the Utah Heart Gallery to give these children the chance to get their portraits taken by professional photographers. 22 children were featured tonight. Austin Herrick Stewart was one of the featured speakers tonight. He had been in the system since he was born, never having been adopted until earlier this year, just before he turned 19.
I was at the point of thinking that I wasn't going to get adopted. Then they came into my life at the time that they did, and it gave me hope again.
It's very rewarding to see him and watch him from what he was to what he's now become. Having a family, you can't help but get emotional and smile.
Austin is living with roommates now in Logan and is working, but is so grateful to finally have a family. The Heart Gallery will travel the state so prospective families can have the opportunity to see them.
If you're convicted of being drunk behind the wheel in Utah, you need one of these devices to drive again. So why do some offenders say the company installing the machines mistreated them?
I try my hardest to do the best I can, even though I made a mistake 3 years ago. I shouldn't have been treated that way or threatened.
I'm Nate Carlisle. Tonight, Fox 13 investigates one company charged with helping keep drunk drivers off the road.
A West Jordan family says their horses are being repeatedly targeted in an unusual crime. The disturbing story coming up.
The latest on the municipal elections across Utah, including some very close races.
RSL with a big match tonight against Portland. We'll have the highlights and hear from the Jazz coming up.
If you are convicted of drunk driving, the only way you can get behind the wheel again is with an Interlock device which analyzes your breath for any trace of alcohol.
While the devices are required by the state, they are installed by private companies. Fox 13 News investigative reporter Nate Carlisle has the story of one Interlock company accused of holding on to cars to collect from DUI convicts.
A1 Interlock is among a handful of companies approved by the state to install these devices. Tonight, we're hearing from those convicted of DUI who say this company confused them with their billing, then threatened to take away their cars. These disputes have spilled into a lawsuit against one city.
I got a DUI almost 3 years ago, and so I have to have an Interlock.
Zara Hardman has been trying to make amends for her decision to drive drunk in 2018. An Interlock device allows her to drive from her home in Murray to her job in North Salt Lake.
It's a pass or a fail on if your car will start or not. So if I were to drink and blow into it, it wouldn't start my vehicle.
When she needed an Interlock in 2020, Hardman went to Utah's list of certified providers. 8 companies are currently on the list, including the one Hardman chose, A1 Interlock in Sandy. This is how the relationship ended. Hardman says A1 threatened to send someone to her home to tow her car away if she didn't come to the company's shop to make her account compliant. A company employee wouldn't explain more.
I need my device.
Hardman says the A1 employee climbed into her car and removed the device without her permission before her contract had expired. An A1 employee shot the video and gave it to the Utah Driver's License Division, which provided it to Fox 13.
I've never been treated like this by a company.
A1 also does business under the name Skyfine USA. Both companies are co-owned and operated by this man, Austin Najib.
Paying anywhere from $50 to $80 a month to regain your life, basically, which is the ability to operate your vehicle, go to work, take your kids to school, go to the grocery store, etc., is not an expensive fee to pay to get those privileges back.
According to one A1 contract we reviewed from 2020, the base cost to have an Interlock installed is about $1,200. And there could be more fees for service calls, moving the devices into another vehicle, etc. When a customer doesn't pay, A1 does not handle it like most businesses.
The clause says A1 can impound and hold the customer's cars when they are behind on their bills. Here's how former A1 employee Cody Lemon described the process during a 2020 interview with a coordinator from the driver's license division. The division was investigating some customer complaints, but ultimately took no action.
If they couldn't pay it, then you'd give them their options, which is, can you borrow the money from a friend or family member? If you can't do that, then you have your vehicle can sit out in a parking lot for 3 days. After the fourth, or on the fourth day, after the third day, we'll have it towed.
I've been a customer of A1 for over 2.5 years.
Angelo Rodriguez says A1 held his car. He says an A1 employee said his interlock was damaged and the company would hold his car until he paid for the repair.
Your device has been damaged beyond reasonable wear and tear. So we're gonna hold your car until you give us a $1,600 cashier's check. When I gave them the cashier's check, I still asked them, where is the evidence? Where is the proof? What's wrong with the device?
He says he never got an answer. Rodriguez won a case against A1 in small claims court, which the company plans to appeal.
Unfortunately, we deal with a standard thing, which is individuals coming in and simply not wanting to make payment for anything.
Najib says the fees and impound clauses are outlined in the contracts. He contends holding cars are a better option for customers than pursuing debt collections that will show up on credit reports.
We have a business to operate. We are not a nonprofit, and we are here to provide a service, and in exchange, customers have to pay a fee for that. Unfortunately, we have many offenders that decide to, if they're not happy with a charge, keep in mind, that does not mean it's not a valid charge. Simply, they're not happy with that fee. So not one of our customers has ever been taken advantage of.
Najib declined to say whether any A1 customers have ever lost the titles to their vehicles as a result of exercising the impound clause. Records show Sandy police have been called to A1 at least 4 times in 2020 and 2021 for customers reporting their cars are being held by the company. A1 last month filed a civil rights lawsuit against the city over an incident where a police officer allegedly told A1 to return a vehicle. A Sandy police spokesman declined to comment to Fox 13.
The amount of complaints is comparable in what you would expect from a company with as many clients as they have.
Tara Zamora oversees the Interlock certification program at the driver license division. Her office investigated A1 in 2020. Zamora says her office has encouraged A1 to use other collection means, but there's no rule against impounding cars.
What would get an Interlock device company in trouble with driver's license division?
If they were to violate any of our administrative rules that we have in place for them, or if they were to be criminally charged.
I don't know what your problem is. I need my device.
In emails Hartman shared with Fox 13, she contended A1 charged her more for device maintenance than what she'd been quoted, and complained that no one would answer her questions. She's still disputing charges A1 made to her credit card.
I'm a professional myself. I try my hardest to do the best I can, even though I made a mistake 3 years ago. I shouldn't have been treated that way or threatened.
Unlike some auto services, the Utah legislature does not place a cap on what ignition interlock companies can charge. In the studio, Nate Carlisle, Fox 13 News, Utah.
If you have a story you'd like the Fox 13 News investigative team to look into, email iteam@fox13now.com. Or you can call the tip line at 801-536-1314.
Coming up, a West Jordan family wants to know who is targeting their horses. What's happening to the animals that has both the owners and law enforcement concerned. A West Jordan family wants to know who is targeting their horses, committing an unusual crime they say has happened 3 times.
Fox 13's Lauren Steinbrecher explains what's happening and why it's so troubling.
Taylor Armbruster's always over at her mom's house.
We all just enjoy spending time with them.
Hanging out with the horses, Susie Q, Bobby, and Henry, taking care of the trio, which right now means scheduling vet appointments after Taylor's mom noticed a week ago someone else had come to see the horses.
You can see the different hack marks.
Lopping off Susie and Bobby's tails, which is weird in and of itself until you find out this is the third time a hair thief's harassed them.
They've altered her quality of life for the summer.
We first did a story with Taylor and other horse owners in October of 2018 when their Missouri Foxtrotter Sage's tail was chopped off.
Well, they actually broke her tailbone. And so there wasn't just a haircut, there was actual breakage of her tailbone.
Sage later passed away. In September 2019, Susie was targeted next. Now, exactly 2 years later, Susie again and Bobby. They think the person also went for Henry.
His tailbone is pretty bruised. We just want to know why. Why us? Is it spite? Are we being targeted?
There is some interest in horsehair. Sometimes they're used in musical instruments, stringed instruments. Sometimes people might use them for crafts or jewelry.
West Jordan police are investigating, but no leads between the 3 years. They've taken no reports from anyone else. They say this person could potentially face animal cruelty, but at the very least, criminal mischief or trespassing. Taylor says the horses can't swat away flies, and tails take years and years to regrow. Her message for whoever is doing this to the animals she considers family.
It's not funny. It's not a prank. It's cruel. Forget the trespassing part. You're hurting our animals.
In West Jordan, Lauren Steinbrecher, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Still ahead, election 2021 is not over yet. The latest on some tight races, plus why some voters are saying yes to a tax hike.
Coming up in sports, we'll hear from the Jazz starting backcourt after their big night against the Kings. And the RSL's honored, the night they honored Real legend Kyle Beckerman, they played for a chance to clinch a playoff spot. The highlights are on the way.
We are following developing news in Spanish Fork where a structure fire could be seen from traffic cameras on the freeway. This video is coming to us from Angela Garlick. This is, or rather, the police department is just now confirming to Fox 13 News that the fire was at the Mountain Country Foods warehouse near 16th North and 195 East. Again, this is in Spanish Fork. The fire started just before 7 this evening. 4 employees were able to get out of the building safely. Only minor smoke inhalation reported among those 4 employees. The cause of this fire is still under investigation, but police believe a mechanical malfunction may have played a role. We will continue to follow this story for you, have the very latest during this newscast and coming up on the Fox 13 Quickcast, and of course, anytime on fox13now.com.
It's probably too soon to say whether or not this was a screaming success or a dismal failure.
More results are coming in from Utah's municipal elections, but some races are just too close to call.
Meanwhile, voters are saying yes to a tax hike. Fox 13's Ben Winslow explains.
Sandy mayoral frontrunner Monica Zoltansky went for a horseback ride while waiting for more election results.
It's been a huge push, a race to the finish line. Definitely ran as an underdog. Small amount of funding, but big effort from the people of Sandy to get me elected this campaign, so really proud.
Across town, Jim Bennett is also waiting. The two are the top finishers in Tuesday's ranked choice voting election, and it's a very close race. The next round of results may not arrive until Thursday.
I'm on pins and needles. I want to know what the results are. I think ranked choice has extended this process to some degree. I'm used to elections where you find out essentially on election night, and that wasn't what this election is. But I'm optimistic.
Ranked choice voting was tried in 23 cities across Utah, but here in Sandy, neither of the top 2 mayoral candidates would recommend it.
I didn't think we had that very valuable vetting process that a primary provides, where you really distill the issues and the candidates go head to head.
Voters were confused by ranked choice voting. I don't think if it were put to them as a referendum, that it would survive.
The state's top election officer says they'll survey voters to see if they want to keep it going.
I imagine that there potentially will be the option for other municipalities to continue to participate in the years to come. I'm not sure that we're ready to expand it out to partisan races just yet, but you know, I haven't seen any glaring problems that would lead me to believe that this program is going to go away.
While there still are some close races, one thing that isn't tax increases for arts and parks in communities across the state. Voters are approving them, and by big numbers.
Voters love it.
The 1/10 of a cent sales tax hike helps pay for recreation, arts, and parks. It's consistently been approved by voters across Utah in numerous elections.
These are the kinds of investments that voters like, that they want to see in their communities. They want to see more of these arts and culture opportunities. They want to see more parks.
In Sandy, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thank you, Ben. A study from Utah State confirms what many women already know. Sexist comments are normalized in social settings and public communication in Utah. More than 800 Utah women participated in the survey analyzed by the Women in Leadership Project. The researchers gathered specific examples of sexist comments, which they say is crucial to understanding the forms sexism can take.
One example of that is oftentimes there'll be a group of men who, let's say, are all lawyers, and then there's a woman that's a lawyer. And people, when she walks into the room, will comment on how nice she looks, how she's dressed up. People are thinking they're being kind, but actually it really demeans women or takes away from their professionalism.
The most common reaction to sexist remarks was a direct response, either by questioning the commentator to giving information or using humor. The second most common reaction was not responding at all.
Big improvements are ahead for the Mill Creek Canyon thanks to $15.3 million in federal money. Salt Lake County is putting up another $4.2 million to make needed improvements to the upper 4.5 miles of the canyon. The funds will widen roads and reconstruct trailhead areas, improving safety for visitors who come to hike, bike, and picnic in the canyon.
The project is $19.6 million, and we need to come up with $4.2 for a local match. Rest of that is being paid for by federal highways through their federal land access program.
There will be an open house next Tuesday, November 9th, to get public comment on the initial proposed plans. For more information, go to fox13now.com.
It was such a nice day today. I know a lot of people got outside to enjoy it. We'll have more nice weather for tomorrow as high pressure is still in charge, all ahead of our next system that's going to move in late tomorrow. But for right now, getting ready for bed, 48 degrees here in Salt Lake City, 48 also in Ogden, and for Provo, currently 45 degrees. St. George, 76 tomorrow. So you've got a lot of sunshine, close to 80 through the weekend. So upper 70s through Friday, Saturday, and even into Sunday. And don't forget, daylight saving time ends on Sunday. Into next week, your temperatures will be a little bit cooler for St. George, so you'll have partly cloudy sky by next Monday, Tuesday, closer to 70 degrees, with overnight temps mostly about 50 degrees. Now here along the Wasatch Front, here's your super 7-day forecast for tomorrow. Temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 60s for your high. So those temperatures when you first wake up tomorrow morning will be in the low 40s. You'll be into the 50s by lunchtime, and then look at tomorrow afternoon. Those temperatures will be in the mid to upper 60s 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock tomorrow. So a really nice day ahead. Now for Friday, we're going to have mostly sunny sky. We'll have some nice weather for you, 64 degrees for a high. You'll want to enjoy the warm weather this weekend. This will likely be one of our warmest weekends, if not our warmest weekend left this year. So we're getting spoiled this weekend. Don't forget, daylight saving time ends on Sunday, and then we'll have some cool, wet weather into next week. Now for Saturday, we'll have some nice weather, 67 degrees for a high. Your temperatures for Saturday morning will be a little bit cooler, so upper 40s first thing on the morning. By lunchtime, you're close to 60 degrees though, so you can plan out some really nice activities for your Saturday here in Salt Lake City. And then by 8 o'clock, those temperatures will be in the upper 50s. Then don't forget, that night our clocks are going to change. And then as we look at the Sunday information, mostly cloudy. You'll have 58 degrees for a high on Sunday. And then our new sunrise and sunset times will be different heading into Sunday and the rest of next week. So that new sunrise time will be 7 o'clock in the morning, and the new sunset time will be 5:15. Now by next Tuesday, we're going to end up with our temperatures in the low 50s for Monday and Tuesday. So as we go ahead and bring you this information to start next week, we're going to end up with a couple of systems that'll be rushing by. Now into next week, once we get into the middle part of next week, that's when we're going to start seeing some better chances chances for some showers. Monday, probably mostly off to our north. Then we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's when we're going to start seeing some more chances for some rain to return. And then by next Tuesday and Wednesday, our temperatures will be in the low 50s here in Salt Lake City.
It's the final week of the MLS regular season, and Real Salt Lake's fighting for their playoff lives. RSL's 2 matches to play, but if they beat the Portland Timbers tonight, they clinch a playoff spot. They can do it on the night they honor RSL legend Kyle Beckerman. The longtime RSL captain, played 14 seasons at RSL, was on the MLS winning team. They shut off the Beckerman's block and presented him with the jersey of the number of matches he played in the MLS, a record 498. I'm sure, though, Kyle did not like what he saw in the first half. The Timbers took the early lead. Sebastian Blanco heads it in and put Portland on top 1-0 in the 17th minute. Portland was back on the attack later in the first half. The cross finds the foot of RSL defender Aaron Herrera, and it goes in. Here's another look. That's an own goal. Portland was on top 2-0 in the 38th minute. They added one more goal before the half with RSL's defense scrambling. Blanco gets it back and scores. The Timbers are rolling. They lead at 3-0 in the second half. The Jazz beat the Kings last night to improve to 6-1 this season. The Jazz starting backcourt played like all-stars. Donovan Mitchell, 36 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and Mike Conley added 30 points. Mitchell played big in the start of the third quarter, and then he got tired when it was Conley's turn to take the ball and go to work. It worked well last night.
Me and Don kind of have a nonverbal communication. He looks up at me and he's like hands on his knee, tired. Like, all right, I'll take the ball for a few possessions.
Being able just to have a guy who knows the game, thinks the game, understands things, you know, even just being a decoy, you know, if you're tired, kind of being in the action, but making sure he's able to get downhill and vice versa. Just being able to kind of play off each other in that way, and that just comes with reps, you know, and it helps when you have a 15-year veteran, you know, to say, here, you got it, and I'll stand out the way.
Mitchell and Royce O'Neal are questionable for tomorrow's game in Atlanta with sprained ankles. Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers tested positive for COVID-19, so he will not play this Sunday. Instead, it will be his backup, former Utah State Aggie Jordan Love, starting for the Packers against the Kansas City Chiefs. This will be Love's first career start in the NFL.
They're not going to postpone or cancel the game. We have game to play. It's the next man up mentality, and that's how we've operated for everybody. I think our guys will rally around Jordan. We've got a lot of confidence in him, and what a great opportunity for him to showcase what he can do.
Excited to watch him play. We'll be right back.
Finally tonight, we have just enough time to congratulate Fox 13 News weekend anchor Brian Schnee and his wife Melissa on the birth of their new baby Meredith Ray.
Oh, look at his little shirt that says Girl Dad.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
She was born at 3:55 Monday morning and weighs 7 pounds, 14 ounces. Brian says Meredith Ray already loves cuddles from Mom and the sound of Dad's loud, booming news voice.
And we have a lot to celebrate.
Yeah, we do, because on top of Brian Schnee's, here's my little granddaughter who was born this morning to Stephen and Brindley. They haven't named her yet, but she was 19 inches and 7 pounds.
Welcome to the world.
Yeah,
What
congratulations.
grandchild? What grandchild?
24.
24. Congratulations. And congratulations to Brian Schnee.
Yeah.